is facing a rebellion among its ranks when a vote takes place as soon as next month. It's claimed that the benefit shake-up will save £5 billion a year by 2030 and push more people into work. But some claimants on PIP, personal independence payments and universal credit will lose out. Labour won't have it easy bringing in the changes. Let's just have a look then about whether Starmer could do a U-turn. Now, if you come over here, you can see this car with the flag on it. We're just going to take a close look and just see who's at the wheel. So bring it forwards if we can. Ah, yes, it is the Labour leader himself who's driving. And this is what some of his MPs want him to do on benefits. Are you ready? Watch the manoeuvre. That's what they want. They want the U-turn because they think this is going badly and it's going in the wrong direction. And let me show you some evidence in their favour. So these are Labour MPs most at risk. These red dots are the constituencies. These are MPs with a majority smaller than the number of PIP recipients who may not qualify for PIP if they're reassessed. There are quite a lot of them. By The Guardian, this analysis. I'll just take you through the numbers. There are basically 3 or 4 main facts in here worth remembering. So, if you look at the map, the analysis suggests almost 200 Labour MPs have a majority smaller than the number of recipients of PIP in their constituents, a lot of them in the red wall seats, as they're called in the north of England. More than 80 have a majority smaller than the number of disabled people who could see their PIP benefits cut. MPs say they're organising a campaign to oppose welfare changes, and the vote is expected in June. Important to remember that. And the rebels think they may be able to secure as many as 50 MPs to vote against the changes. Now, does this matter? Well, first of all, we should say this research might be rubbish because people vote on lots of different issues. So the maths may not add up. But if it isn't rubbish, MPs like Wes Streeting, Shabana Mahmood and Jess Phillips could all be affected because their constituencies are pretty tight. If you're Starmer, you look at these maps, the election results showed so much red in the House of Commons. He's got a lot of leeway. 411 seats won by Labour. Let's have a look. Effectively now, 157-seat majority. Rebellion needed would be 79. 79-80 is the key figure. He's unlikely to face that. There's another reason he may not want to give way, which is that this U-turn manoeuvre will remind any politician over the age of 40 of Mrs. T, who famously said, "U-turn if you want to, the lady's not for turning." And everyone's got that burnt into their brains, Albie, haven't they?
They do, and can I just say, what a brilliant Thatcher impression. I think you should do that more often. I quite enjoyed it. Look, on this, I do not think Labour should U-turn on benefit cuts, not just because Thatcher didn't like U-turning, even though she actually did several times during her prime ministerial career, but because it would be the wrong thing to do, in my view. Actually, I think probably the benefit cuts that we have seen introduced by the Labour Party, in my view, don't actually go far enough. I'm much more in line with what the last Conservative government's plans were, and I think they were going to find £12 billion worth of savings from the benefits budget versus the £5 billion that Labour are expecting to find. So maybe they could go more than twice as far. So I think that would be wrong, and I think that Keir Starmer should stick to his guns because people vote on a variety of different reasons, and if he can show that actually he's delivered on immigration, he's delivered on economic growth, he's delivered on the other things that people care about, I don't think it will matter so much about these benefit cuts.
Helen, I saw you flinch when he said they should be going further.
Absolutely not. It's not what Labour were voted in for. I think any decent society is sort of judged on how it treats its most vulnerable, and not very well at the moment. You've got the OBR saying that the cuts are going to put 250,000 people more into poverty, and 50,000 of them children. That's not what Labour was voted in for. They wanted this change. There more and more people going into poverty, and it's going to carry on that line. That's not Labour policy.
The idea behind it is to say to people, you need to find a job instead of relying on benefits, and hopefully they'll go out and find one.
doesn't work, does it? Since when does putting sanctions in and putting punishment in for we're going to give you less money if you don't go out to work? A, the jobs have to be there. B, what about the people who've got a mental health issue or some other difficulty that means that they can't get out to work? You're actually going to make their condition worse. CAMS, mental health support, it's not there. That's in absolute crisis. So there are many, many people who want to go out to work. They say, I need this support to get to work, and they're not going to get that financial support to be able to get into work.
And of course, PIP is given to people who are not necessarily out of work. They might just be helping them get to work.
Yeah, it's the universal credit part.
Helping with their daily life. OK, Joe in Sheffield, do you think Labour should U-turn?
Absolutely. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
I think it's really, really horrendous and disgusting, and it's absolutely certainly, as your panellist said, it's not what people expected from a Labour Party. Jeremy, you said about a month ago that no caller ever asked you a question. Could I ask you a nice question?
I won't have said that because they asked me them the whole time, but you go ahead, ask me a question, yeah.
No, you said you'd like it. You'd like it.
OK, yeah, sure, yeah. Go. I dread to think what you're going to ask. Yeah.
No, it's nothing horrid. Of course not. Why do you personally think that Liz Kendall is never, ever, ever on TV? She was on Laura Kunzberg. Oh, well done.
Oh, I don't mind a question like that. I think she is on TV, but she is on TV. I see her on TV all the time.
She's never on Question Time. She's never on Good Morning Britain. She's never, ever visible.
Well, look, that's what they call a rhetorical question, because I was getting excited. I was going to have something to answer there. And of course, you're making the point that she's never on TV. I mean, in the end, I guess she's being sat on, is she? You know, what is that? Is that
she is on television. I did see her on television around the time.
Well, I know what she looks like. I mean, that doesn't mean she's not announced.
I think actually the true reason why Liz Kendall isn't on television is because she is seen as a potential successor to Keir Starmer, and she doesn't want to be seen to be showing up the Prime Minister. I personally think that's why she's on television.
She's being smart there.
And that's why she's been put in that very difficult Welfare and Pension Secretary role, is because they want her to be less appealing to the public. She's got to deliver this. She was
on ITV News 5 days ago. Joe, she is on TV. Have you got any other questions?
Well, I just think that I need to make the point. I think, hopefully, one, the Green Paper may never go through because it's seen as unlawful, as was the Tories before the general election. And also, there are a lot of Labour MPs, my own included, who are going to object to it and won't accept it.
But where does the government get the money from to pay benefits it can't afford? Help me understand.
Well, they've managed it before, and certainly the way to do it is it's been handled the wrong way round. There are horrific waiting lists for people with mental health problems, people waiting for operations, etc. And so you have to deal with the waiting list before you deal with people going back to work. It's been handled completely the wrong way round.
Would you increase taxes or borrow more?
A bit of both.
Would you? OK, fine. Thank you. Good answer. That's fine. That's it. I mean, I think we are at the limit of what we can borrow as a country, because we're starting to get the interest rates are moving against us now. Thank you, Joe. Kathy in Cheshire, hi.
Oh, hi. No U-turn on benefits. The government has to grasp the nettle and be strong enough. We've got to put the economy first. You can't be a crowd pleaser. This country, is being asset stripped. I fear for the future. Investment and money is flooding out of this nation. And I fear a time when there might be zero benefits. My grandmother remembered people trudging up to the workhouse. I wouldn't want nice people to die on the pavement or anything like that.
No.
I'm frightened of the way this country's going, and you can't just chuck money around like this. And people, even if they're good people and genuine people, they're sitting at home doing nothing, as I am actually now. And it just can't go on.
So Kathy, I'm confused because you hang on, Kathy.
Furniture.
Kathy, sorry, you said we've got to carry on with the benefits cuts, and then you said you're worried that there will be a situation where people don't get paid benefits.
No, I meant in the future, if it keeps on this country going poor, any fool can stand up in Parliament and make themselves look a lovely person, chucking money around, give everybody a rise, everybody's welcome. We can all do that. We need people who are strong and have to put that economy first, and people have to understand that in a poorer country, poorer people have to be poor. And
okay, all right.
I
think you're on Albie's side here. I'm sensing.
I think what Cathy is saying, in a way that I might not have put it, is that the welfare spending that we have in this country is not sustainable on the current trajectory. It isn't. There's something like some reports stating that over 1,000 people each week are signing on to some sort of benefit. And the point I think Cathy from Cheshire is making is that that is not a sustainable policy. And if we keep on that path, we are going to end up poor and we're not going to be able to afford the things that we have today.
The first thing that will happen is it'll take down the state pension. That will be the first thing that goes. And it's already being watered down. But if we want to support the benefits bill we've got, we may have to say we can't have a state pension anymore.
But I'm not sure why is it a choice of this or this? Why, there was 16 billion lost in fraud over the COVID.
Well, that means the government's got even less money.
But why can't you go after that?
I'm sorry, this is just such... I understand where the argument's coming from, but it really frustrates when people make these silly arguments about fraud
silly argument.
During COVID. This is a secular issue, i.e. this is something which is going to be a problem decades from now. This is not just related to one event that happened in 2020.
No, but there's money
there is an issue. There is an issue that public spending is rising faster than GDP growth, which means over time there's less and less money for public services. Right. That's not solved with silly arguments about fraud 5 years ago.
Hang on, let's get another caller. The caller takes priority. So, Helen, just a second. Carol in Derby, hi.
Hello there, how are you all?
I'm trying to get a word in. How are you doing? What do you want to say?
I think they should do a U-turn. My husband and I are both on PIP. He cannot work. He has seizures frequently. He has brain damage from brain tumour. I've got long COVID.
Oh, you called before, haven't you, Carol?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Yeah,
you said
I remember you saying.
I'd be okay.
Yeah, I remember this, yeah.
I'm not thinking I'm going to be okay. If my PIP gets reduced in 3 years' time, it means that I'm going to lose my independence card, my mobility card that I have now, which is my independence gone. I won't be able to get my husband anywhere. Our benefits are so low as it is.
It sounds to me like you'll be okay, I think. I'm not think they're going to come after you, Carol. You think they will?
You can't say that, because if I get the less points in 3 years' time, I've only got to get 3 points instead of 4 points, and I've lost everything.
And it's true,
you know, my husband will be fine. He's on indefinite because of his condition. He will be absolutely fine. But
Thank you, Carol. Could we not agree, Helen, that the issue seems to be more to do with young people claiming for anxiety?
I think there is another issue about that.
It's not the same issue.
I think it comes back to what I said earlier about people wanting to go to work, but they're unable to because they don't have mental health support. So actually going back and getting the 16 billion that was lost in fraud, that we can put back into the NHS system, sort out people's mental health that have been on the waiting list for years, and actually get them all back into work. So you won't. That grows the economy.
So we go for Michelle
You won't need to go, oh, the welfare bill is going up, up and up, up. It won't. It will come down if you invest in the support services.
OK, all right. Well, thank you so much.